Welcome to another Run 8 video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at train symbol routings and OTTO, the auto dispatcher, and what yards OTTO can route into and which ones he can't, because there's a lot of yards in the SoCal region here that he cannot route a train into. So we're starting off at Union Pacific's Yermo yard, and we're going to see if using train symbol ZYRBR will get him into Barstow Yard. So you'll be able to find the train symbol routings file by following the path that I'm putting on the screen here for the Barstow Yermo area. And if we start at the top here, this is all your train symbols and where they go, and we're going to be using these files in today's video to find out where OTTO can route to, and we can also modify this to get them to route to certain areas. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see here you got East Barstow westbound Main 3, and you got BAR and BR. So we're going to try this one first, ZYRBR, and we're going to see where OTTO is going to send this train. Will he send them into Barstow Yard? That's what we want. We want to see if we can get him from Yermo Yard into Barstow Yard. So now we're going through control point East Barstow, and if we look up here at the dispatch screen, you'll see that OTTO's got him routing across from Main 1 down to Main 3, which is good. However, he's bypassing right here the receiving yard, the Barstow inbound receiving yard, and he's just sending them to this signal right here at control point Barstow. And with the ZYRBR symbol, this is where he ends up, at this control point here, or at this signal. And as you can see on the dispatch screen, he's coming up to stop right here, and that's not going to get us into the receiving yard. So the Union Pacific symbols, even though it says BR, won't get you into the receiving yard. But if you want to get into the inspection yard and then send him on his way out to Mojave, this is what you want to do. You want to use a Union Pacific symbol like this, ending in BR, because he's just going to stop him here, which is right here at this signal. And then from there, you could manually take him straight ahead. You can turn auto off real quick by pressing F1. Turning them off up here, and then you could switch this up, give him a green, and you could send him right into the inspection yard. And now you see he's got a approach, and he's going to go right into the inspection yard. So if you do want that, use the Union Pacific symbol ending in BR, and it's got to be in that UP formatting. So now we're back at the control point East Barstow, and down here we got our ZYRBR symbol that we just tried, and we know that this will take us to the inspection track entrance for Barstow Yard. But if we want to get him into the receiving yard, then we want to change this to the BNSF style tag, even though it's a UP train, which will be Z, and then we'll go YER for Yermo, and he's coming down to Barstow. And if we go, so it's ending in BAR, which we saw on our, well, actually we know that any train ending in BAR is going to end up, if it's coming this way, it's going to go into the Barstow receiving yard. So now we'll send him on our way, and we'll see how OTTO handles the routing. So you can see he's already got him cutting across here to Main 3. And we'll watch him, and he's going to send him, now he's going to, when he gets past here, he's going to send him down this way, and he's going to go all the way down here into the Barstow receiving yard. And now we can see up here that Otto's got him, instead of going straight towards the inspection yard, he's now routing him down into the inbound receiving yard, and he's going to come up and end up on one of these receiving tracks. And there he is. You can see the path that he's taking into Barstow yard, receiving track 6. So that worked perfect. Now we're here in Bakersfield at the Bakersfield yard, actually in the Mojave subdivision, and we are on the west end of the Bakersfield yard. And OTTO will allow you to route into the yard from the west end. If we take a look at the train symbol routings file for the Mojave subdivision, you can see at the bottom here you've got BNSF Bakersfield Yard West End, and then tag BAK will get you in there, but it's only for the west side, not the east side. So if we check our train symbol, I've just put in a URIC BAK, Richmond to Bakersfield. So if I AI recrew this and let OTTO take over here, we are going to see that he will route him into the west end of the Bakersfield yard. And you can see it right up here. Here's our train right there. And you can see he's already got him going right down into the yard. So if you want to route a train into Bakersfield Yard and you're going to be eastbound and you're coming from Richmond or Stockton, somewhere up north. But for BNSF, they call it east and west here. So if you're going eastbound, you just need to have your tag end in BAK and it'll send them into the yard. But you have to manually pick what track to go down. So you can see here, I manually threw this switch and sent him down this track. I don't remember what number it is. But if you don't have any switches thrown, he'll go all the way to the edge. And, so you got to keep an eye here on what track you want him to go down when he arrives. And I think you can also throw a switch over here, like this one here. If you had this switch thrown the other way, then he would get to this entrance, but he would just stop and then you'd get the warning that a switch is thrown against him. And he'd just wait there until you came and moved this one back to green, and then he'd come through. So that's, if you're planning on sending trains, do that. And then otherwise he'll, potentially end up way down here, or, who knows, it could be a mess. And then another thing to be aware of is, you want to make sure on the track that he's on here at the other end, he's not lined to leave. So like right here, we're good here. See, he's not lined up. So he'll automatically stop. But if this switch were thrown to go this way down this track, he would just keep going right out. And then you'd have another mess on your hands. So that's important to remember, is to make sure that whatever track he's going down, he's not going to get out. He's going to find a switch thrown against him. Now, real quick, I want to show you, we're over here on the east side of Bakersfield Yard. You can see the yard up ahead here. And I got this train tagged BAR BAK, another BAK, to try to get into Bakersfield Yard, but it's not going to work because we're on the east end. OTTO will only route him into Bakersfield Yard from the other side like we just did. On this side, if I come up to the dispatch screen, you'll see OTTO's just got him going straight past right here, and the yard's down here, and he's just going to go straight past. So if you're coming from this side, if you just went from Barstow and you went through Tehachapi and you're coming to Bakersfield Yard, you're going to have to watch him. If you want him to go into the yard and he's an AI train, or even if you're driving, you got to be aware, and you'd have to switch him over right here manually. So you got to stop him before. I always look at the 76 station you want to stop him here, switch him over, and then further up ahead here, you'd switch him into here, and then you can route him to whatever track you want. But you got to do it all yourself. And if you don't, as you can see, he's going to go right on by. Okay, now we're going to try the BNSF Calwa yard on the Bakersfield subdivision. And we're just at almost the east entrance here. And I've got this train tagged BAR to CWA. Now, if I remember correctly, CWA for Calwa, that's something I think I made up. Because if we look in here at our train symbol routings for the Bakersfield subdivision, you can see we got Calwa yard only and CWA. And I think default, that might just have like XYZ, like they just put it in there, but you have to choose the letters you want. I put in CWA, and then I've got the train tagged CWA. And now if I do AI recrew just to see now where OTTO will route them, and you can see it looks like that's, I believe, a diverging restricting. And if we check our dispatch map, perfect. He's got them coming across from main 1 onto main 2 and down into the east yard lead for Calwa yard. So if we're coming from Bakersfield yard or even Barstow and we're coming all the way up to Calwa yard in Fresno, you'll see OTTO will route him into the yard. But, and this is important too, this is kind of like the Bakersfield yard, he's going to be coming in right here and going into the yard, but then you've got a lot of manual switches. So it's not like Barstow yard where OTTO will automatically find an open lane in the receiving yard and send him down an open lane. Here it's like Bakersfield yard on the west end, where once he comes through here, then he's all yours, and you got to flip the proper switches and have him routed down the track you want ahead of time. So you can see here at Calwa yard, you'll have to pick from any of these tracks. And again, it's important to remember that if you don't have the switch thrown against him at the opposite end of the track you pick, he's just going to go right on off and just keep going to wherever and maybe disappear if he goes off the map, or, you're going to lose him or it's going to be a mess. Unless there's another train in the way, then he'll stop. He won't run into that train. But the important thing is you want to make sure ahead of time that you've lined the switches for him to come in. So now I'm on the west side of Calwa yard, and you can see that OTTO has him routed properly into the yard from that side too. And I believe this is new. I think this is something that was just added. So you can see he's making his way to the yard entrance track. And up ahead, I'm going to show you, we got the same thing. Again, it's important to remember, you're going to have to line all the switches ahead of time. So he's now entering Calwa yard from the west end, and I'm going to show you up ahead an example of what can happen if you don't have your switches lined up correctly. So I've got the switches lined up to route him onto this little stub track, I guess, whatever you call it, with a little bumper at the back. Watch what happens when he gets there. And that's not what you want to happen. And the only reason I know that this happens is because it happened to me before. And I came back to the yard to check on the train that I had sent, and it was gone. So again, that's why it's extremely important to make sure you got your switches lined correctly ahead of time before the train actually gets to the yard. We're now on the new Fresno Modesto subdivision. Modesto to Fresno, BNSF. We are approaching East Riverbank Yard. You can see us on the map right here at East Riverbank. And I put the final 3 letters as XYZ, and the reason is because, as you can see here on the train symbol routing for Fresno Modesto, under BNSF Riverbank Yard, this is the default, XYZ. So you can put whatever you want in here. I didn't configure it yet. You can make it RIV or whatever you want to do. But so I just went XYZ because that's what's currently in there. I still have to configure whatever letters I want. So if I AI recrew this train, he should get routed into the yard. And looking at the map, you can see up there at the top that it's working perfect. OTTO's got him routing right into the yard, just as planned. And make sure to remember to get your switches lined for the proper track, and make sure you throw a switch against him at the other end of the track so he doesn't leave the yard. So now we're on the west end of the BNSF Riverbank Yard, and you can see that he's got a signal, and it looks like OTTO's routing him into the yard as well from that side too. So you can route into the Riverbank Yard BNSF from either side, which is really cool. I didn't realize that. This is the first time I've tried this one. So Calwa, you could do both sides, and Riverbank. And there he goes into the yard. So that worked perfect. Okay, we are now on the Union Pacific Fresno map, and we are heading northbound. So we are currently at the south end of the Union Pacific Fresno yard. And I exited the sim and I changed my symbols. So if you look here, you'll see I changed Riverbank for BNSF to RIV. I think the depot might have RBB. And then, but you know, you can put whatever you want there. And then for the UP Fresno yard here, I changed it to FR. So now I got the train. I just went MWC for West Colton and then FR. So now we're gonna do an AI recrew and see if OTTO will send him into the Fresno yard. Okay, it looks like OTTO is having technical difficulties because nothing's happening. So let me figure out what is not working. Okay, let's try this again. I just reset the sim. And we're again at the south end of the UP Fresno yard. We're heading north, and he should route him into the yard. So I got the symbol MWCFR, AI recrew, and let's see if we get a signal this time. OTTO's engaged. I have no idea what's going on here. This might be a glitch. What am I missing? You can see down in the bottom right, we're just stuck there. We should be getting a signal and going up into the yard, but we're not even getting anything. So I just placed the train on the north end, and you can see from the dispatch map, there's no way to physically route into the north end from using the dispatch map. You would have to do manual switches, but I just wanted to see if OTTO would give him a signal, and he did here, heading south. So I don't know why that might be an issue. I don't know why when we put him at the control point CP Floridora heading north to go into the yard, we don't get any signal. And I also tried off camera on, I think it was main, this bottom track here. I think that was main track 1, which would be this one. coming north, and he didn't get a signal there either. So I'm a little lost. Well, I don't know what to tell you here. If I put him back here, heading northbound, we get nothing. We don't get a signal to go straight or route it up into the yard. The train symbol is MWCFR. It's AI recrewed. And you can see up in the top right corner, OTTO is turned on. So I don't know. Maybe this is an issue. I haven't tried this yet, and maybe there's something wrong. All right, I'm going to try again from track 1, heading northbound. I put the symbol as INPFR. We'll do an AI recrew, and we'll see if OTTO will give him a signal. And it appears that the answer is no. Okay, I think I figured out the problem. For some reason, if I place a train at CP Floridora, right here where I was, for some reason OTTO is not recognizing him when I put him at that control point. But if I drop him here just before the Mono Street control point on track 2, it should work on either track, but on track 2 here, and I'm going to do a West Colton to Fresno symbol. Now if I do an AI recrew, we should hopefully see OTTO bring him into the UP Fresno yard. And we can see he's got a signal, so now it's working. So yeah, something to do with that other control point. You just can't drop a train in there, I guess. But he's currently lined up to, this is where we had him placed before, where this green block is. So he's currently lined to there, and let's see what happens. Well, it looks like this is all OTTO's going to give us. He's going to stop us again at Floridora. And off camera, I tried doing this exact train, but with the symbol ending instead of an FR, and ending in RV for Roseville, which would just take you off the map, continuing this way north. And it worked. He sent him all the way through here and back onto the main, where after the yard. And it worked fine. So there must just be, this must be it. I guess he won't flip that final switch leading into the yard. He'll stop you here, and then you can just manually from here obviously flip the switch and take him in the rest of the way into the yard. But for whatever reason, OTTO's not flipping that switch right there and giving a signal to send him the rest of the way. And you can see on the dispatch map he's going to stop right there. So I don't know. I guess that's just the way it's set up, or it's a glitch. I'm not sure. All right, I had to give it one more shot. I changed in the train symbol routings. I changed it back to the default XYZ, which it comes standard when you get the route for Fresno Modesto. And I'm trying a BNSF symbol on this UP train just to see if for some reason this yard is only accepting BNSF formatted symbols. So this is the last shot here. Let's try this. We got BAR XYZ. We'll do an AI recrew, and we'll see if OTTO will send him into the UP Fresno yard with a BNSF formatted symbol. And that doesn't work. OTTO's engaged, and we're still stuck there. So I guess that's about as good as you get for the UP Fresno yard, is you're going to get to CP Floridora and then have to manually take them in. But not the end of the world. Well, that concludes today's video, but we still have more yards to check out. So I'll do that in a second video in the next few days here. And we will be looking at Hobart Yard, the LAJ Yard, San Bernardino, Malabar, and we've got a bunch of other UP yards as well to check out and see if they work with OTTO. So stay tuned for that video, and thanks for watching.